Hi everyone. I am so happy to be here with you all again. Welcome back. So, first, I just want to ground into the abundance of earth energy, universal cosmic energy to just ground me and center me as we have this beautiful reading and conversation today. And now that all are welcome, you all are welcomed here in this space. And I ask that Yeshua, Jesus, be here with us during this reading today, and may you speak through me. I'm really, really excited to be here with you all. Okay, let me get some water. I need to fill this up. One moment. Okay, and I really love using the sound bowl that my teacher got me. So I want to, it's a lily feather, like a lily petal in my box. Okay. So, always brings me right back to center. Music, dancing, singing. Yep, brings me right back to myself. So before we begin, I'm gonna sit over here just so you all can see my plant friends who wanted to be here with me today. So this is my sister's plant. It often, I find that it sticks to me, or sticks in my hair. And then this is my bamboo here. So beautiful. So yeah, first I wanted to share something. This morning I was watching a replay of the study group that I am in for A Course of Miracles, and it just was like a what is it called? Just like an overlay. Like it was just kind of, it went hand in hand with what we are talking about in chapter 7 about withholding and denying and being in denial. And yeah, it's super interesting. The verse that the subheading that I was reading is the denial of God. If you have the FIP, which is the Foundations for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles, it's on page 189, and it's going to be in chapter 10, the idols of sickness. And so it's just super interesting that, it starts off talking about like having an allegiance to the denial of God, is the ego's religion, and how the God of sickness, the God of sickness requires or is asking us to deny the truth, deny health, deny vitality, deny health, right? Well-being, who we are. And in that regard, it's almost as if there is, because we're denying health, there is this opposition. Like there's the opposition in the truth of who we are, and in our own survival. So I wanted to start on verse 6 and just read for a little bit. So this is, of course, in Miracles. Son of God, you have not sinned, but you have... Actually, I want to start further up. Verse 5. I said before that of yourself you can do nothing, but you are not of yourself. If you were, what you have made would be true, and you could never escape. It is because you did not make yourself that you need be troubled over nothing. Your gods are nothing because your Father did not create them. You cannot make creators who are unlike your Creator any more than He could have created a son who was unlike Him. If creation is sharing, it cannot share what is unlike itself. It can share only what it is. Depression is isolation, and so it could not have been created. Son of God, you have not sinned, but you have been much mistaken. Yet this can be corrected, and God will help you, knowing that you could not sin against Him. You have denied Him because you loved Him, knowing that if you recognized your love for Him, you could not deny Him. Your denial of Him, therefore, means that you love Him and that you know He loves you. Remember that what you deny, you must have once known. And if you accept denial, you can accept its undoing. And so I thought that was like an interesting sentence there. Remember that what you deny, you must have once known. And if you accept denial, you can accept its undoing. So it's almost saying that, like, yeah, the things that we are creating when we believe the ego, when we believe the separated mind, and that we feel that like these things are true, there's like an opportunity through forgiveness to actually just, to release those things and to begin to choose again, to begin to join with love, to begin to to tap back into our spirit, tap back into who we are, and as we remember who we are, in essence, we are returning to God, to our Creator. Your Father has not denied you. Your Father has not denied you. He does not retaliate, but He does call to you to return. When you think He has not answered your call, you have not answered His. So that's reminding me of like giving and receiving and withholding. He calls to you from every part of the sonship because of His love for His Son. If you hear His message, He has answered you, and you will learn of Him if you hear aright. The love of God is in everything He created, for His Son is everywhere. Look with peace upon your brothers, and God will come rushing into your heart in gratitude for your gift to Him. So, yeah, it's just so beautiful that the love of God is in everything He created, and His Son is everywhere, right? And so when I think about us having this, like me filming this video right now, right? It's like we're also connecting because spirit is within me and spirit is within you, and spirit is, God is in everything. Is all that is. And so even, you might find yourself sitting under a tree at a park, or connecting with the flower, or connecting with plants, and knowing that something within you, right, within that living thing, and within yourself, there's a reminder, there's a reflection, and you're able to connect to that spark of divinity. And there's so for me, like when I look at plants, I just get so excited. When I look at flowers, it's just like I'm in awe, but also I'm just like, oh, like it's reminding me of me, and like there's no hierarchy, right? It's just like, oh, like being able to behold the beauty of all of creation, and behold the beautiful colors and the way that Creator like wants to express through us and as us. So super, super, just so beautiful. So, yeah. Then it goes on to say, you are not sick and you cannot die. Do not look to the God of sickness for healing, but only to the God of love, for healing is the acknowledgement of Him. So when we acknowledge God, when we acknowledge the truth of who we are, the spirit that sits, our soul and our heart that connects, in essence, we're healing and we're choosing truth. We're choosing unity and union. Yeah, but sometimes sometimes we may find ourselves confused and really dreaming and really believing that the dream that we're dreaming is real, right? And so then we begin to create in ways that aren't true to our nature, and true with the capital T. Remember, though, that to do this is blasphemy, for it means that he's talking about when we confuse sickness, when we confuse ourselves, that like when we believe that we can be sick and that we can die. Jesus is saying, like, this is blasphemy, and it means that you are looking without love on God and His creations, from which He cannot be separate. And only the internal can be loved, for love cannot die. So just so beautiful. I don't know. To me, those just went hand in hand. The looking at the time, that subheading in that chapter, and then the withholding, and yeah, for what you withhold, you cannot receive, and you cannot receive a piece of heaven, nor know a piece of God or your own self. Your giving must be total for you, your giving must be total for you to receive in truth. So yeah, let's jump right back into where we were. So I think we ended off on verse 10. So I'm going to start on verse 11. If you have your books, grab them. Feel free to read along. Verse 11, there are but two forms of withholding: what you withhold of yourself from the world, and what you withhold for yourself from the world. So, of what you withhold of yourself and what you withhold for yourself. So, let's see the distinction between those two. A grievance is something that you have chosen for yourself. A piece of a relationship separated off and held in contempt and righteousness. You are unaware that you choose this form of withholding, sometimes dozens or even 100 times a day. An unreturned phone call, a bit of traffic, a harsh word spoken, an unremembered errand, all can be resentments you hold to yourself and refuse to let go. This is reminding me of like how Yeshua has talked about, I think it was in the Course of Miracles, about holding on to these like perceived grievances and like holding on to them for days, for weeks, for months, for years. And then we just have like this vengeance, right? It's like these opportunities of, I want to get back at you, or yeah, like I'm your friend, but also like I'm not, like I'm like against you, and it's like, yeah, that's what that's reminding me of. Let's go back to the text. By the time you begin your day, you may hold several of these in your mind, and there you build them into, I forgot the microphone is here. By the time you begin your day, you may hold several of these in your mind, and there you build them into reasons for even further withholding. Now you have an excuse, or several excuses for a bad day. Why should you give anything to anyone when your day has already treated you so badly? You withhold even a smile because you have chosen grievances over love. Mm-hmm. And I think also another way of like withholding or like these grievances that we create in our mind is like through our judgment of them, through our judgment of like of what's worthy and what's unworthy, and placing meaning on like this person's action has like allowed like not taking responsibility of our own emotions and our own feelings and interpretations of the the situations that we are seeing and the meanings that we're placing onto other people and onto like what we're seeing in the world, our world, right? Like it's that's a reflection of what's going on inside. And yeah, I think grievances, we can hold on to grievances too by, like I was mentioning, by when we get upset and how we're judging things. um so yeah, let's keep going. That just kind of wanted to come through. Okay, yeah. You withhold even a smile because you have chosen grievances over love. Verse 12. You might choose to tell those you encounter of your bad day, and if they are properly sympathetic, you may feel that you have gotten something in exchange for the resentments you carry. And if the exchange is determined to be of equal value, you might let them go. A response of less than sympathetic proportions, however, is simply added to your list of grievances until the burden of what you hang onto becomes more than you can bear. Yep. I've even witnessed myself doing this. I've even witnessed like, oh, okay, never mind. Like you didn't respond in the way that I thought you were gonna respond. Like, um, like really, that's all you had to say. You know, it's like um, those types of like unloving to me, like that's how I feel, like unloving towards myself and unloving towards other based on something else that's coming up, something else that like I'm projecting that onto another person, even though it's my emotions and my expectations of what I wanted from someone or wanted, but never, and I never talked about it, right? You never, like, it's just like, oh, I just had these things and so now I'm upset because this and this. But like, was there actually an agreement there? Was there actually a conversation that was had that like, yeah, this person is willing to do this? Or is it based on these relationships that we, or these roles that we have of people, and then of the expectations that we place on them based on past experience, and not being like in present time of who this person is and how um, they've agreed to show up, right? So yeah, that's that's funny. It's like feel lovingly called out right now in this verse, but I'm here for it. So let's keep going. Um, a responsive yep, I read that. However, it is simply added to your list of grievances until the burden of what you hang onto becomes more than you can bear. Now you can look for one. Now you look for one upon whom you can unload your burdens, hoping you can pass your grievances and amass to someone else. If you succeed through anger, spite, or meanness, you simply take on guilt and take on guilt and withdraw still further into your own misery. And so this is interesting too, because what's coming up is that um yeah, it's like it's these grievances are continually being held and held and held onto, and then at some point something's is going to explode, and then it's going to be like this person or this situation takes you unload all of what you were feeling. um yeah, and but it doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't do anything because you're still sitting with that. You're still you've given that, and that's what you're receiving, right? And it's I read something today, I think it was like what you extend you receive, or what you extend you are. And so yeah, so that's like the perfect kind of like segue to this, that from what the course is saying here. So yeah, let's keep going. Verse 13. What you do not realize is that every situation is a relationship, even those as simple as a unreturned phone calls and snared traffic. You relate to someone or something in every situation you encounter, and what you hold against them, you withhold from yourself. Right? Right. And so, um, right. And so it's like, it's reminding me of like just earlier in the text of like, yeah, giving and receiving is one in truth, but also what you aren't giving or what you aren't receiving is what what you're withholding, right? And so that's what it's saying in these situations and and in these relationships, right? Whether it's a situation or with a person, you might want to like receive like heartfelt connection, but like what are we withholding? Like, are we withholding or are we denying giving love to another person or giving love to ourselves? And in these encounters, in these real life experiences, in each and every day, moment by moment, we can see where we are. We can see where we are emotionally. I'm seeing in my mind like a like you can move it like a thermostat. The word isn't coming to me, but I see it's almost like, yeah, you're able to feel. It's like you're able to feel where you are on the spectrum, engaging, how am I feeling? What's coming up? I want to receive love. I want to receive connection. I want to feel these things. And where right now, like, how am I withholding that from myself? How am I withholding that from another person? How am I separating myself? Right? Like, how am I denying the love that I am in this moment? And yeah, so let's continue. You have taken a piece of them and hold it. Let me go back. What you do not realize is that every situation is a relationship, even those as simple as unreturned phone calls and snared traffic. You relate to someone or something in every situation you encounter, and what you hold against them, you withhold from them. You have taken a piece of them. You have taken a piece of them and hold it unkindly to yourself, not in joining, but in separation. Totally unaware, you too are subject to these whims of your brothers and sisters, and find at times pieces of yourself scattered hither and yon, knowing they are lost to you, but not knowing how this loss came about or where to retrieve these missing pieces, not knowing that you can prevent the loss entirely by being one. What is joined cannot be parceled out and scattered, but must remain in wholeness. What is joined resides in peace and knows no grievance. What is joined resides in love, invalid. There is another way in which you withhold pieces of relationships for yourself. This withholding is not of the form of grievances, but of the form of specialness. This is reminding me of what I was just talking about in verse 12 about those special relationships and those expectations that we hold to our brothers and sisters. Okay. This withholding is not of the form of grievances, but of the form of specialness. You withhold in order to make yourself special, always at another's expense. All your efforts to best your brothers and sisters are thus all competition, all envy, all greed. These all relate to your image of yourself and your efforts to reinforce it. This is your desire not to be intelligent, but to be more intelligent than your colleague. This is your desire not to be generous, but to be more generous than your relative. This is your desire for wealth that is greater than your neighbor's, attractiveness greater than that of your friends, success greater than that of the average man or woman. You pit yourself not only against individuals, but groups and nations, teams, excuse me, and organizations and religions and neighbors and family members. This is the desire to be right or in control or to have more or be more. This is the life based on comparison of illusion to illusion. Okay, I'm going to read one more verse and then we'll end there for today. You do not see this as withholding, but what you claim for yourself at another's expense is indeed withholding. And in your world, you know not how to claim yourself. Excuse me. You know not how to claim. Man, I am cracking up. Okay. It's funny sometimes when you catch yourself and you're like, no, that's not what that is not actually what that says. But yeah, let me go back. You do not see this as withholding, but what you claim for yourself at another's expense is indeed withholding. And in your world, you know not how to claim anything for yourself without withholding it from someone else. You have now set yourself up in a position to withhold your intelligence from others lest they profit from it. You want your intelligence known and recognized, but you want it known and recognized as yours. If someone wants the intelligence you have to offer, something must be given in return. What you demand can range from admiration to money, but it is all the same, and the demand is always there. It is the ransom that you insist be paid. The homage you claim is due. That without which you will withhold what you have, and you are thankful for these things with which you can demand ransom of the world, for without them you would be the one called upon to pay. Yep. I definitely see how that occurs in the world that we live in, and that ideal of like, because I hold this wisdom and this knowledge, like people should worship this person with this knowledge, or give them a certain amount of money or this or that. And so it's interesting to see this in this course. But it's funny because it's the call outs, but it's but I love it because it's like showing us how the mind works and how we really have these thoughts, and like what the world that we've created is based upon. And so I love that we're now at a point in the book, and in the course, in this chapter, to distinguish the ways that we are withholding from our brothers and sisters, as well as from ourselves, and for ourselves, right? So thank you all for watching. Sorry about my voice, but I hope that you all were able to take something from this, and hope that you are able to sit with this in your heart. And I'll see you next time. Bye.